Hi, it's Sonia here, and I'm back today with another video. Well, there's a couple of videos actually. They're both real time, and they are process videos using Japanese watercolors. One is going to be a loose, I'm starting it here, a loose landscape sketch in my specifically loose sketchbook. And the second video is I then go on to do an abstract watercolor piece in my abstract sketchbook. And yeah, I put these two together because they both flowed one from the other. And I thought it's also good. I mean, this video is like a bit more than 16 minutes. And yeah, just to show that you can, even in a pretty short time, get a couple of sketches done. And I think the helpful thing here, why I was able to flow quickly from one to the others, I kept to the same medium. I was really enjoying my set of Japanese watercolors, and I was like, well, this spread I think is finished. I'm trying really hard sometimes not to overwork things, but I still want to keep painting. So I just grabbed my other sketchbook. Yeah, so I thought this would be a good, I hope you've got your sketchbooks out and drawing along with me, or making your art, doing your creative thing. So I thought I'd start off with a little chat because it's relevant to one of the questions I think I've been asked about what have I experimented with and my thoughts on different mediums and materials. So yeah, in this video I can talk about Japanese watercolors. On the set to my right is, I think it's a Kuretake, the Gansai set. And I think I got them like this is my second, this is like my third set, because one set I've basically nearly used up. I got them a few years ago, and gosh, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And then I really enjoyed using them. So I sort of ploughed through them, and then I because when they're affordable or on sale, I have got a couple, and they tend to be my go-to compared to other watercolors, I've got to be honest. So yeah, I thought I'd have a little chat about those. So yes, I had a quick look up. What are the sort of differences? And I just Googled it, that apparently Western watercolors tend to have a stronger focus on transparency, but Gansai is meant to be more opaque, and this is reflected in the higher pigment load. And I also saw that Gansai apparently means solid paint from pigment. And I'm not sure about if anybody knows this, like pop it in the comments, but I'm not sure about anything about light fastness with these types of paints. As we know, watercolors obviously do sometimes need more protection if you are buying them and sticking them up on your wall, because they are less, they do, some can fade with strong sunlight. I assume this is probably the case with these. I do have some up on, I just look quick sketches, I do put them up on walls just with masking tape. But most of this is in my sketchbook. And the other thing with this is also, if you are then experimenting with like prints or wanting to sell prints, I mean, it doesn't matter because you're just scanning them in and then it's going to, go off to a print company. But they are fun. And now we're going to go to why I love them, because a lot of the time when I'm making my work, I'm not thinking about, to be honest with you, anything archival or worried about that. I'm more not worried, but I'm more considering how is this going to inspire me more, or how am I going to, is it going to make me enjoy the process, and maybe and also enjoy like visually the results when I flick through a sketchbook. Plus a sketchbook, let's be honest, is pretty protected. I don't think, it's, though in sketchbooks I feel like a lot of this stuff is gonna, you flick through and it's not gonna be altered, but correct me if I'm wrong. And yeah, so they're just, so as you can see, this sketch is really quick. I'm nearly coming to the end of this one. So with this one, I just got a photo reference. I sometimes just, if I want to start, I just quickly scroll through like my library, because I was filming it, I had to go through my library of photos on my Mac, got an image from a local route that I run frequently, and it's sort of like a sort of a bay, a bit of water, with, I think in the distance I've tried to show, like I think there's a bridge over there. But I decided to work really fast, really loose. Why I love these watercolours, one of the reasons are they are big pans. So you can get a big brush and you can really get into them, swirl your water around and get a load of watercolour on your brush. And to get going, you don't have to, like, I've got a few tubes of student watercolour paint, which to be honest with you, I want to use up because I've had them for years and I've not been using them. But I don't tend to go to them because then you have to get the plate, squeeze out the colours. It's just an extra step. And I think if you're wanting to fit art into, you know, especially if you're busy, small bursts of time, this sort of a watercolour set is great because you can just get going. As you seeing with this one, I didn't put a drawing down. I've just gone straight in mapping out some generalised shapes. And for me, the interesting thing with this is I read on a blog, I think a Doodle Wash blog, they were saying that actually apparently you don't get as good, what watercolourists term the blooms or the blossoms with these paints, is what was written. I would argue in this, I don't know if it's the paper maybe, but I feel I'm getting really great sort of accidental blooms and spills of watercolour. Like if you look at this piece here, I feel you can see that tree, there's meant to be a sort of a line of trees on the left-hand side, that has sort of really grown into it's always made its own reflection. I didn't even mean for that to happen. It just sort of bloomed into that space, that green and the browns. And I can see, like, when I just even, like, this isn't a particularly close-up view of it. Hopefully, I think at the end I might raise it up to the camera, but, you know, I feel the effects are really interesting to me, like visually really pleasing, something really satisfying about it is the best way I can sort of describe it for myself. This is a personal opinion. And the other thing that is noted in general about it is people say, oh, it's a more glossy, sort of a glossy type of paint. And I agree. I think there is a bit more of a sheen compared to my Winsor & Newton watercolours. So yeah, but I like that. That's something that, oh, here I go, because I finished it now. So yeah, I'm bringing it up to the camera. So I don't know, can we see? I'm looking down myself at this on my editing it. Yeah, I think you can see. For me, that was I've now quickly moved on to the next video. So yeah, this is now I'm going into my abstract sketchbook. But hopefully you could see there that I managed for me to get a loose interpretation of a landscape with these paints. And it was a really satisfying, that took me like 7 minutes. And yeah, I'm definitely going to do more of those. I did some, to be fair, I think the reason I did that piece is I did some earlier versions of the similar thing in the sketchbook, which I will show when I do a sketchbook tour of it. So yeah, so they are a bit glossy, especially on some papers. The other thing I do also agree with is, and I think this is why I really like them, is the fact that they are more opaque. That obviously appeals to me. When I was younger, I did try and teach myself watercolours. So I remember getting books out of the library and getting, you know, watercolour paper and practising. Like it was, I can't remember when I was in my 18 or 19. I managed to, you know, practice doing the whole thing where you wet the paper and then you do the trying to remember it, the graded washes. And you obviously, like, people love the transparency, but I've personally, sometimes for me, it can be a bit too pale and wishy-washy. And it's just so hard with watercolours to get the balance right between a piece for me that has all the beautiful luminosity, the sort of gracefulness of a watercolour, but isn't like too faint and doesn't stand out. So then the problem I have when I do traditional watercolours is then I want to come in and then I feel like, oh, I overwork sections. And yeah, I can find traditional watercolours, and when I've read the books on how to do it, a little bit frustrating. These Japanese watercolours, maybe because I'm not following anybody's tutorials on them, I'm just experimenting myself, to be honest. I find that, I don't know, I just find and I am pretty heavy-handed, like as you've seen, I load the brush up. I really like sort of more pigmented, stronger colours that come through. And yeah, I mean, I think that's because gouache is probably my like favourite medium, and maybe they're tending towards more like that. So that's my personal opinion. So here we can see now I'm in. So yeah, I was enjoying them so much. I was like, let's just get on and get into my abstract sketchbook and just play with the colours merging it. I wanted to play again with those, trying to get those blooms, but I also wanted to play with some simple shapes, because yeah, I was just in a mood for being very loose but not too complex. So yeah, this is a fun way of following on from another sketch. So you see I've got, yeah, the orange coming in at the bottom. And with this sketchbook, I was really trying not to think too much about colour theory, colour combinations. What I love about that palette also is it's not like my Cotman palette where I've got the mixing area. I mean, yeah, you can mix them, I assume. I don't tend to be honest. I'm a bit bad at actually mix them together on the pans, which is really bad. But you could, I assume, have a plate beside you and then mix up some colours. But with this, it's almost like if I'm working really fast, I've got enough colours that I can just dive in and let them. I think in this video, do you know something? I think I actually talked about it as a process, and I've just deleted it, and now I'm just talking over it. I was wondering why am I gesturing with my hands like that. I'm not going to go anyway. So yeah, I think, yeah, basically you can use them as you just straight from the pans because there's a good colour choice, or you can then mix them. I mean, I guess that's the same with watercolour as well, but for whatever reason, I feel like I'm more likely to do that with these paints. I really like that creamy blue one. Not blue one, the creamy, what was it? It's like, well, I don't know how to describe it. It's like they've got some really nice off-white colours as well, which I quite like. And yeah, I was just playing with adding the blue there. So this was a very nice session from last week. Yeah, just a general chat. This week, weekend, because it's like Monday here, I took the weekend off art. I wasn't necessarily, I think it was a deliberate move actually, because like I had one of the kids had a soccer tournament. It was a pretty full-on week. So I really enjoyed, yeah, I just thought let's take a break because I want to come back to this week refreshed. Someone, I think one of you guys on Patreon as well was doing something. I think I was mentioning doing something similar. Like, so I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Like, maybe I should be a bit more thoughtful in when I take a little break from art, because I have been super motivated and enjoying it and feeling really creative. And I was thinking, like, sometimes I don't know if you do this, but then you get to a stage where you're like, ugh. You need, you know, as people talk about, you get a bit like stuck with art or have a bit of creative block. I was thinking, I wonder if I actually schedule in some time when I'm like, yeah, this is okay, I'm not going to do any drawing or painting for a day or two. If actually that will then help me so I don't, as it were, like exhaust my creative energy in that way, so I can come back refreshed and also enjoy other things, you know, there's other priorities in life as well we've all have, and you know, spending family time, dedicated family time and everything else going on. So that was good fun. This piece is, I'm coming to the end of this one as well. It would have been really, it was almost part of me, I remember with this, it was like, oh, should I cover up the whole thing with paint? But I'm like, no, I really enjoying within this sketchbook. It's funny because I have pages that I've kept to a similar theme, but they're interspersed with other pages of complete intricate pen drawing or pages that I've completely covered up with paint and collage. So yeah, this sketchbook is very close to completion. So I'm actually really looking forward to doing a sketchbook tour of this one, because I feel it's like one that this is the first sketchbook I've done actually since I've started YouTube videos. So yeah, so I hope, yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I hope this has been a useful video. Yep, and if anyone else likes Japanese watercolors, let me know. And yeah, thank you as always for watching. Thank you to everyone who's a Patreon member. I do appreciate it. It helps sort of, keep me motivated to make more content, supports this channel, because I'm trying to focus on it in some ways. I actually thought I'd only do this for a while and then stop, but I feel like it's actually, hopefully it's useful and it's actually benefiting my creative process. So that's, this page here, sorry, this page here is when I've started going over it with metallic pen, and that's worked really. I feel like I'm going to come back to that page and I'm going to just, when I have little bursts of time, I'm adding to it, so it's like growing. But so just to say, metallic, not just metallic pens, but the other thing with these pages is then when they're dry, you can then draw on top of them and they develop into completely different pieces. So this is now, but I can then change this up at another time as well. But I think I'm just going to stick with this one. All right, that's today's video. Thank you for watching. Please do like and subscribe. And yeah, thanks everybody. And I will be back with some more videos hopefully this week and some new artwork as well. Thank you. See you next time.